Wow. Hello, welcome. Oh my god. Wow, welcome to the first This is Mappa of 2023. And I'll tell you what, start as you mean to go on. As you can see at the bottom, the ticker says that's all, folks. Less than 15 minutes ago, breaking news. Xisco Munos is out here, or whichever way
Yep.
the door is.
Yeah.
Whichever way the door is. The Spanish head coach lasted 12 games, 11 league games, one cup game, 6 defeats in total. And the final straw, the nail in the coffin, was the 1-0 defeat against Agrida Chloraga at the weekend. And Thassos, I want to say Happy New Year. I want to say how was your Christmas, but no disrespect, mate. But this is
Yeah.
this
No.
is
Fuck
this
all that.
is
Let's get in there.
yeah. This is it's yeah. I'll let you take the floor with this one, man.
Oh
Honestly,
man, I've got no floor to take. My notes was all about him going absolute ape shit after the game, saying the team was shit, and
we're in
you
the
know,
shit.
yeah, exactly, and yeah, all that business, with the video with the with the press secretary going.
I know we are now in the bad situation, but sometimes when you are in the shit and after you need more react.
How do I translate this?
Oh yeah, how do I put that? But yeah, absolutely insane. Is like from the beginning of the day, from this morning, just whispers,
Yeah.
and then slowly they got louder and louder and louder, and it's 10:30 in Gibro now, so it's almost the day's finished. They've just gone rip. See you later. Munoz with he's got history of obviously joining a circus, trying to do something in the circus, and then getting launched out of a cannon out of the circus.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he was probably expecting it even before the Garmiodis game. And the Garmiodis game happened, obviously. The whole fallout with Warda. There's also some talk about Lazaros coming back now because Munoz isn't there anymore. So it looks like there was some kind of player fallout involved in there as well. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I think, yeah, I mean, if Anorthosis survive without going down this season, good on them. I mean, good on them. It probably is good for them to go down and then come back up. Do like what Aris did, for instance, or some of these other teams, because whatever's going on at the moment there is the monkeys are in charge of the zoo and shit's flying everywhere. It's oh my god.
Mate, do you know, I find it absolutely incredible. This league never ceases to amaze me. It really doesn't. And it's to be expected. This is Cyprus. This is Mappa. This is what they do. But yesterday's press conference after the defeat against Agri, it was yesterday, wasn't it? Or was it the day before? I can't remember.
Time. What is time in this league?
Yeah, exactly. It was a very spiky press conference. If you get the chance to go to watch it, I think it might be, is it Sida Vision?
Yeah.
Their YouTube channel. It's on there. They're about 10 minutes long. And the thing is, he was all right. He was saying, we didn't play well, but I'm really sorry to the fans. I'm really, really, really sorry. Very apologetic. And one of the reporters asked him a question about the squad, and he said, well, when does the transfer window open? When does the transfer window open? He goes, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. What do you expect me to do? He goes, we need 2 strikers. We've signed Tejera, the midfielder, Sergio Tejera. Apparently, they're in talks with 2 Spanish strikers. Whether or not that happens now is beyond me. I haven't got a bloody clue. All of this, for me, I mean, sacking the previous head coach, I forget his name now. Remind me. Milanic. Yeah, that came from Buffalo. Sacking him kind of made sense. It kind of made sense in my head. But when you bring in a coach like Munoz, who, let's get it right, as a player, was very good. He did well with Watford, albeit he got sacked. But Watford, they've had about 20, 25 coaches in like 15 years. You don't surprise me. But you're thinking, this guy has got a strategy, he's got a plan. He was talking about a process. And while the results weren't great, and while the performances weren't great, and I'll tell you what, if I had time, I would actually do a compilation of the type of goals that they conceded, Anorthosis, because the winner against Agrida, which we're going to show in just a bit, practically sums up how they've been conceding goals all season. They give midfielders or strikers 2 or 3 yards to set themselves up to shoot, and it's been a pattern.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the interview he had, the press conference when he first joined the club, and he was talking about keeping clean sheets and trying to solve the defensive problem out. And obviously that that never happened. So the writing for me was on the wall during the press conference, because while he was saying all of these, I would say positive things, but he was trying to make people see sense. We knew that, Cyprus, there is no sense. There is no sense.
Yeah. No, but I mean, so on top of like whatever's going on defense-wise, whatever's going on in the midfield and in the defense, and why they're conceding these goals as well, the goalkeeper Loria is not doing himself any favors either. Like the second goal they conceded against Anorthosis last week was from a crap clearance from him. I know Economidis just simple pass through to Koulibaly, who scored the second goal. It was Koulibaly who scored the second goal, wasn't it? Yeah. So, and Laurie has been full of mistakes like that this season. A couple of times where they've had good results, I think they've had Geravno in goal. I just don't know why he didn't carry on with him and brought Loria back in. So there's some decisions going on there as well. Why play Waris? Why keep playing Waris? He's not. There's no goals in him. There's no goals. There's no assists. There's nothing from him. He conceded a penalty against Apoel. He almost conceded a second one, and he should have conceded a second one against Apoel as well. So he's got nothing going forward. He's got nothing going back. He's got quite a few players that he's used this season that they just aren't there. You've also got, like, most of the time he was in charge, you've also got the spectre that is Warda and all the crap that he brings with him.
Well, mate, sorry to cut you, but for me, it seemed that Munoz was doing something what Arteta was doing at Arsenal. But when Arteta got rid of Aubameyang, he got rid of Guendouzi, Ozil, get rid of all of the troublemakers. Varda went, Lazaro went, who apparently was a little bit of a problem. Not that I'm saying that he's a problem, but that's from what I heard. So I was thinking, maybe slowly, getting these players out, and then give him a bit of time, give him this window to bring in some of the players that he believes in, he can trust. And here we go. They signed one player, and you're thinking, right, central midfielder, he had a decent game, albeit he's not match fit, doesn't understand the language, etc., etc. And then they sack him like 24 hours after. I don't know what else I can say about this club. They've got problems.
The clowns. Where are the clowns? Maybe next year. I'm not Frank Sinatra, but you know what I'm going for. It's they're absolute. I don't like. There's not much else that we can really say that hasn't been repeated. Like from top to bottom, the whole thing needs knocking down and starting again. It's
wild. It's wild, honestly. And I'll tell you what, I try to watch as many podcasts as I can. There's one called the Blue Zone podcast on Netcast. They're an Anorthosis pod. 3 lovely lads, good blokes. And I'm ready for the next pod that they do, because I think that it's going to go off. Honestly, it's going to go off. It's
It's just I had a load of jokes lined up about the whole game and everything, but
well, let's bring the game up anyway. Let's bring the game up. We might as well.
Yeah, Yeah, because the performance, I mean, it's a sackable performance anyway. Like the I think they only had, I think I looked at the stats, they only had 3 shots all game, none of them on target.
It was appalling. It was
It
really
was,
bad, and
yeah.
hence the reason why he was apologizing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the game against Agrida. It was mostly Agrida, to be honest. I know Anorthosis had a few openings at the beginning, but it was mostly Agrida. And the goal scorer was the new signing from Benfica's B team, Vasco Lopez, wasn't it?
Yep, exactly. Well, I don't know why. At the end of the at the end of the highlights, it gives you the stats, and they said Anorthosis only had 3 shots and none on target, because Waris had 1 on target there. albeit he should have passed it. But anyway, I'm not gonna I'm a broken record with that guy. I'm running out of similes and synonyms to describe how bad that man is. But anyway, listen, you can't fault Agridas for the hard work that they put in as well. You know, these players, you know, when we spoke to the David Badia during the holidays, you know, he said there's a very, very young team there, and these players will be ready in 1, 2, 3, 6 years to be fantastic players, but they're still works in progress. And you can kind of see it in flashes in a lot of games. But against Anorthosis, they all turned up and they all wanted to get this performance in there. You know, you've got a new manager to impress. You've got there's a lot of things in place that got. Oh God, where is with that header one? Oh God. Anyway, yeah. So Agridas.
He's not going to send you any Christmas cards, mate.
Listen. If you try to send it, it'll probably end up in Germany.
Oh my days!
So one person who's still struggling to get into this Agridas team. I'm going to get the Onodi clock out again. Match day 17. He wasn't even on the bench, so I think he must have an injury or something. I think he must be. I think he must have an injury right now. But yeah, you'd suspect. I mean, Glidon Bendrell didn't have many. You know, in theory, he didn't have any saves to make.
No,
but you know, especially with the other, who's the other Castrelli. Anyway, good goal. Good goal. Yeah. Let's see.
He slips twice, by the way.
He slips. He's got enough time to get up. He's got enough time to dribble the ball to a suitable position to shoot, and then he slips and he's able to get the shot away. So, I mean,
well, it goes back to what I said about them giving players space. It's the same with Koulibaly's goal as well. They did the same the other week against Anorthosis. It's the same thing, man.
I don't know where that's coming from. It's not like they've got like a defensive line that's really old or anything like that. At least for Cypriot, in reference to whatever else is going on in Cyprus, it's not like that's happening. You know, you've got players like Gorea in their back line that, you know, in theory they're combative. Yeah. So they normally would get stuck in. So I don't know why they're holding back on this. I don't know what's making them.
Mate, in all fairness, under Ketspire, they were very physical, very aggressive, and I don't remember them conceding silly goals. But it's almost as if they've got a little bit soft since Ketspire went. And maybe, look, I wasn't Ketspire's biggest fan. I'm still not one of his biggest fans, but he got something out of these players. So I don't know. Maybe they need someone there to shake them up a little bit. Maybe they need someone that's less nicey. Maybe Munoz was like that, or maybe he wasn't. I don't know. I'm hearing mixed stories about this guy. Some players like him, some players aren't his biggest fan. But I think we've spoken a lot about Anorthosis. Let's talk about Akrapovic, the new Agrida head coach. He had an interesting press conference as well. I mean, the guy interrupted him about 20 times. So I could tell that the guy didn't know exactly what was going on. Why is this guy interrupting me? Why doesn't he just make notes and then translate? But look, he plays with a 4-3-2-1 system. And it seems to me that it's very productive. It isn't defense-minded. As we saw, they got bodies forward. They got men forward. They're good on the counter-attack. Now, look, I'm not going to ask you, can they stay up? Because every week we discuss the relegation battle. 1 minute Olympiacos are at the bottom. Then it's Agrida. Then Doxa are slowly creeping down that. Then you've got Paralimni who slowly. So in terms of their future with this head coach, you can't base it on one game, but they do look at an interesting proposition. Yeah.
I think on top of that, I think Akrapovic probably went into the game telling them that Anorthosis are there for the taking. Motivation wise, their best player, you could argue Warda was their best player or whatever, went out the door. There's stuff going on up in the boardroom. There's what was going on with the fans. There's a lot of stuff obviously happening at Anorthosis. If you're coming in as a coach, first game, you do the basic bit of research that you do to look up what's going on at Anorthosis at the moment, and you go, all right, they're supposed to be a big team, but they're falling apart. So this game, if you motivate the players enough to go out there and just take a knife to them almost, kind of, then they'll be able to get a result, and that's exactly what happened. If you get basically the Anorthosis players, as soon as there was work to do, their heads went down. A lot of those players are suffering because they've got the manager on their back. They've got stuff in the boardroom on their back. They've got the fans. I mean, you could hear the Anorthosis fans at the stadium up until the goal went in. You could hear them being like, "Yeah, come on, let's go." But it just wasn't happening for them. And Akrapovic took that and drove it into their players that this is definitely a winnable game, and you got the result. And you'd think that, like for instance, Agridas, when they got the result against Omonia, like we said, it was a very, it was like they had one shot and it went in, and it was more kind of Omonia missing chances rather than Agridas putting in a good performance. Whereas this
massive deflection, balls going wide.
But on this side of things, it was kind of flipped around. It was Anorthosis who were acting like the team that just got promoted, performing against the team that should be in the top six. So, I mean, it's sometimes you just show up to a job and they give you a freebie, and that's what Akrapovic had. He's going to be kind of dangling that result over the board's head for a while if it starts to go downhill after this. But yeah, if he's able to get the performances out of the players like he did against Anorthosis, then things are going to get very interesting down at the bottom.
Sorry, I'm just still giggling because this is like, how many managers have we
12.
lost this season?
12.
12.
We're at a duzina. Yeah.
All right, mate. Let's go on to another game now, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So the next game is a 0-0 draw, which wasn't boring. Aris against Karmiotissa.
Yeah.
Played it tonight. a game which had a little bit of controversy. A penalty was given to Aris for a handball, but then obviously VAR overturned it. There weren't that many clear-cut opportunities in this game, but I think it was one of those where Aris had to win to stay in contention.
Yeah.
And Garmiodisa were like, you know what? We don't really need to win this game. We just need to stop you guys from winning because we've got a Russian who's got money as well. So, fuck you.
Yeah. But, you know, kind of Aris, I think they've seen... I think it's all to do with motivation because it's the same players. It's the same players. They're trying to put in the same performances, and a couple of games it just wasn't happening for them, and it's just bloody hell. I'm surprised the post stayed up after that shot, but yeah, it's just not happening for them, and then obviously the confidence starts to go down a little bit, and there's. If you keep taking pot shots like that, you're more likely to miss them than score them rather than try to work the ball into the box. And it's a confidence thing. I don't know. It's a good team. They've got a good way of doing. They've got good tactics. They've got a lot of work rate. It's just not happening for them for the last 2-3 games, which means they've gone completely off the boil. Now they're kind of like in a group by themselves. Like, how many points are they off now? There's 7 points.
Oh, blimey! Has the table been updated on the thing? I'm just trying to see. They're on 33. Yeah, so they're 7. They're 7 off Ike and Aboil at the top.
Yeah. So, and then they're 5 points off Omonia and Apollon. So they're kind of in a place by themselves. So, I mean, in theory, now that they're not really. Hold on. So just looking at the
this is the supposed handball. Never in a million years is that a penalty, in my opinion. He's fallen on the ball. There's nothing he could have done about it. I'm surprised it took him that long to decide, but there was another incident afterwards, a couple minutes later, where Hubichan has clattered into one of their players. Yeah, this one. And Mayambella, I thought, oh, here we go. They're going to get their penalty now, but yeah.
Oh my!
If I tell you what though, if that's in the middle of the park, that's a free kick.
Yeah. Wait, I mean, he's hit him with all the limbs there, hasn't he? He's gone like yeah. But yeah. So we were saying, Aris are kind of like because they've dropped off now and they've got a bit of a gap as well. The teams below them, you'd say that the pressure's dropped off.
Yeah.
So you might see, improved performance next match, which they've got Agridas. So they're let's see how many managers Akrapovic gets sacked. So
the thing is, mate, in all fairness with Aris, right, they're not losing games. It's just the draws.
Yeah.
They've drawn 6.
Yeah.
I think they've won 9. They've drawn 6. So they're not losing games. But when you think about the amount of draws that they had, and you're wondering, look at the players that they've got. They've got Stepinski, who has he even scored this season? I think he's got 1. It's just 1 goal he's got this season. Gogorin's been in and out. He's been on and off form as well. They've relied on Bambica. Obviously, some other players have chipped in with goals. But I look at this team and I think, at the beginning of the season, I had loads of fans saying to me, watch out for Aris this season. I said, I'm not worried about Aris this season because they haven't got this unit. When I see like Aboil, for example, and I see how defensively structured they are and how dangerous they are on the counter, I don't see that with Aris. I don't see a back four that is not flawless. I don't see a defense that doesn't make mistakes. I mean, what's his name? The central defender. I forget his name now. That plays next to Borison. Is it Musiala? No.
Is it?
I forget his name now. Oh my god! I mentioned. I told you his name earlier.
Yeah.
It's Musiala, yeah, the central defender, right?
Yeah.
He didn't get clocked the other week for smashing the other world player, and he did the same again today, right, or tonight, should I say? And nothing was done. No one noticed anything. I'm thinking he's got mistakes in him, right? Midfield, they're pretty decent. Don't get me wrong, but again, we've seen them get overrun. And when you take Bambika out of the team, where's the pace up front? Kokorin isn't quick. Stepinski isn't quick. So I was never in that, watch out for Aris. Maybe next summer or maybe the summer after if they spend well. But by that time, the other teams will improve as well. It's the same situation with Omonia. I was talking about beginning of the season. You know, we were falling behind, but the others were getting better. But the same could happen with Aris, and for all we know, the manager might be gone in a few weeks as well. So,
well, I mean, that's what I mean. I'm just looking here. They've got form last 5 form. They've got 1 win and then 4 draws in a row. So it's really whatever's happened over the last 3-4 weeks. Something's happened. I mean, the only thing I can think that's happened in that time was when the manager was banned, and then he had and then he was ill and wasn't in the dugout. So I don't know if it's just kind of like stuff that's kind of continuing on from that till they pick up a win. But the press secretary for Aris said next game we have to win. Kind of ended it like that. So if they don't get a result next game, I mean, looking at kind of how everybody else is getting sacked in this league, you know, if they go 5 games without a win, and, you know, they were talking about trying to get into Europe again like they did last season, then, you know, he's going to be writing one of those cards again. I loved you guys.
Thanks for the memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's quickly talk about Anorthosis, a team who, as you say, have got a very high average age. But Sofroni's been in charge for 2 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The Anorthosis one, which they were 2-0 up, and they've been awarded 3-0. Oh, we forgot to mention that.
Don't worry.
So they won 2-0, but they've been awarded the 3-0 because of what happened. And you got a draw here. So it's 4 points out of 6 and 4 very good points. I mean, they went away from home, and forget how bad Anorthosis are. They still had to go away from home and get something. They got a win. And at home against Aris, who, let's get it right, Aris are used to playing in that stadium because that used to be theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll tell you what, if this January they bring in a couple of players that he's happy with, and I expect him to be there in the summer next season, with the money that they've got, they might be a bit of a problem next season.
Yeah.
Might be a bit of a problem.
Well, I mean, we'll see, because, you know, Avusti is their 4th manager of the season so far. So, you know, talking about Anorthosis being what they are, but Karmiotis, in theory, they're doing a lot better than, well, I won't say a lot better, but they're doing better than they should be. But they're also on their 4th manager of the season. So it's a bit difficult to gauge what the long-term plan's going to be for them. But yeah, if Sofroni keeps them playing and keeps getting results the way that he's doing, then, you know, there's no reason why he can't. There's no reason why he won't stay on and won't keep him.
But this is a different challenge to what he's used to. If you think about his previous clubs, AEK weren't title challengers, but they were a team that you can consider as European contenders. Apoel, title challengers. Apollon, title challengers. So he's not used to this mid-table kind of challenge thing. He's used to being up there and fighting. And I'll tell you what, he's not going to sit here and say, Nah, I'm happy with the draw against Aris. I don't think you'll be happy with that result tonight. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right. I mean, they did have chances to win it, didn't they? It just it's something I've seen that quite a few teams do. Is their midfield players, instead of trying to find that last pass, they just go for the pot shot, try and get it into the top corner, and it almost never works. So I think he's probably trying to drill that into them, trying to find that last pass.
Yeah.
I also heard in the commentary for the match. I managed to catch a little bit of the match. I heard in the commentary of the match that Sofroni was just yelling at everybody, going, "Good job, good job, good job, yes, good job." You could hear him like over the over the.
He's happy with the work
microphone.
rate. He's happy with the work rate, mate.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how he's getting these 50-year-olds to be performing for the full 90 minutes, but he's definitely been, I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be able to run.
You'd have a third leg. You'd run faster. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Let's move swiftly on to another 0-0 draw, a more entertaining 0-0 draw. One team that is onto their second head coach of the season versus the home team, which is about to appoint their second head coach of the season. And that's WOWZERS against AEL. And mate, remember at the beginning of the season when we were talking about Anorthosis saying they don't know how they didn't win this game. It's the same with WOWZERS in this one. I don't think WOWZERS know how they didn't win this one because the chances that they had, ouch.
WOWZERS love hitting that bar specifically. It's like the last game we talked about as well against Baralimni. They did the same. They hit the bar, that exact same spot almost. But yeah, AEL hitting the bar as well as it's. Yeah, they've the goal. The frame of the goal has been the best defender for a lot of these teams this week. But yeah, WOWZERS playing at home, and AEL not having their fans there because of the ban. So what you had
Sunday league settings, mate.
I was going to say you have maybe 20 people watching the game there.
Do you know what I love though? You know what I love? When you're watching the game, you look behind in the stands and you see like cars driving by because it's right by a main road. And sometimes you hear the sirens, the police sirens.
But I mean, again, right? So Benny, he took 2 or 3 pot shots like that from outside the box where it probably made more sense to pass the ball. And
he won't be there next season. I'm telling you, he will join a bigger club.
Yeah. I think there's a couple.
Look at this chance! You put your mortgage on him scoring.
I don't know, man.
Sadiq.
Sadiq is having a nightmare of a season compared to these other seasons. I think he's only got 1 goal this season.
Like that,
He's not really been performing for WOWZERS. I mean, he's their captain. He's been there for a while. He's been scoring goals for him over the seasons, but it's just not happening for him this season.
No.
I mean, we're talking about his age, and maybe there's something there. Maybe
possibly.
But
this is a great chance as well.
Yeah,
this is a great opportunity. It's good goalkeeping, but you've got to do better, man. I'm sorry, you got to do better. But this one was given as offside.
Yeah, I mean,
as offside. Go on.
Yeah, no, I mean when it comes up, we'll have a look at it. But it was offside. It's just that the last defender normally is the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So he's offside there because the second to last defender is or what would normally be the last defender.
Let me run it back. Run it back and pause it. Hang about.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Right, there it is, right? So normally, that last defender on the far post, on the near post there, if that's your goalkeeper, then you'd only have you'd have Sadiq would be offside because
That's right.
he
Yeah,
passed the last defender. Now, because
that's
the
right.
goalkeeper, because Alisson/Muriel is where he is. I think he's not even the second to last defender. Look, he's got 4 players.
Yeah, it's 4.
He's got the whole defense behind him. So kind of the rule kind of goes. It kind of looks a bit weird when you look at it like that. Then, but it's offside.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shit rule, to be honest. I don't like that rule. I think it's stupid.
Yeah,
to be
it
honest,
needs
but,
to be. It needs to be last defender.
But they've done the Granmes, they've done the lines as well.
Yeah. So at least it makes sense. But yeah.
No one will be happy about that result. Neither team will be happy about it.
No. I mean, it's a great point for Doxa. Obviously, motivation wise, they needed something. Although they will feel they could have won that. They had so many chances, especially after Sobchik came on. So that's right. Again. I've mentioned him a couple of times for Doxa. He's a really, I rate him. I said last week when they were playing, not last week, last match day when they were playing Baralimni, and Sobchik wasn't in the team. No Sobchik, no party. And look, he came off the bench here, and Doxa's performance, the whole team's performance, kind of went up from there.
Yep.
But yeah, again, I'll profligate. See, I'm trying to find new words because I'm running out of words on how to describe their strike force and profligate. You Google that, fellas. You'll see what that means. Anyway,
well, to be honest, the whole team has scored as many goals as Garmiodisa and Anorthosis, which isn't really saying too much given the way Anorthosis have been this season. And Garmiodisa don't really have a killer up front, but they haven't conceded many goals. I think only Ike, Abuel, and only those who have conceded less than them.
Yeah, it's their defense is great. Their defense,
or is it the goalkeeper that's great, or is it the goalkeeper that's great?
No. I mean, even when Teixeira was having a bit of a nightmare in the last match day, Bilovar was there, kind of took on the reins. I mean, a couple of times against Doxa, Bilovar gave the ball away, but you kind of saw for that chance where the Doxa player dribbled past the goalkeeper, and it was going to be it was like the first one on the goal line, and he was the one that cleared the ball out. So, and as well, have you seen his age, Bilovar? I think he's only 21. So so he's still learning the trade, but their defense is really good, and obviously Muriel being back there as well doesn't hurt things.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But
they do have a look. They've got a very pragmatic head coach, and he was at Olympiacos before, wasn't he? Was it Janevski?
I think I brought Paralimni as well.
Yeah. So I mean, but Bilovar's only on loan from Dinamo Kiev.
Yeah,
he's only on loan. He's 21 years old. But I think Bruno Santos is leaving, from what I hear. I think he's a decent right back for them. A little bit physical, but that's the kind of player that they want. That being said, if Shepovic leaves, that frees up another player spot for a non-Cypriot or a European player. I don't know where they go from this. I really don't know where they go from this. They definitely do need a centre forward. There's no two ways about it. I don't know what's happening with Berahino. He hasn't been firing all the cylinders. Katakliknic, I don't know what's happening with him. He's not even kicking the ball at the moment.
Miralas
Miralas,
he's got one goal, and that was a penalty. They've kind of tried to bring in kind of star players in that front line to try and get goals, and they're just not doing it. They're just not doing it. I don't know if it's because there's too many names trying to be the big dick. I don't know if it's that they're not really gelling as a team up front because I'm the best player, give me the ball. No, I'm the best player, give me the ball, and they're kind of not communicating, and it's not getting through. I don't know. there's a lot of things happening in that front line that needs to be looked at.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's the only thing that's letting them down, and has let them down all season.
Yeah. Well, I guess they could always go to their next door neighbours on Apollon and ask them if they could borrow a striker, because only two of them appear to be scoring goals, and that's Bitta and Dinguinu scored the winners in their 2-0 victory over Nea Salamina. But Filemu, we didn't mention this. Varda Vision has hit Limassol. Apollon signed Varda. Varda, who asked to break his contract.
Yeah,
And, Anorthosis said, "Yeah, fine, cool, no problem. You can go."
Yeah.
And he joined Apollon. So I guess that fan who I was giving him bollocking a few weeks ago, saying, "I didn't really listen to Apollon," was right in the first place. Yeah,
he was right, wasn't he? He was right. Why did you go talk to Apollon now then? Well, why indeed? I mean, if we go back to the game that we've got the highlights up on now, Bitta scored the first goal for an Apollon player at the Alphamera Stadium, but we're not going to forget. First player to score at the Alphamera Stadium was Adenon, the Doxa player, scoring an own goal. Yeah, so there. But yeah, what Warda's now there. He came off the bench, I think, in the second half. And then kind of once we get to it, he's involved in the build up for that second goal. He has a shot as well that goes really close to going in. Proper. He showed up as if it was last season again. All of a sudden, there's not much else to say about that, but it kind of. That's a shame again.
Yeah, Zandi who hit the post.
The post saves the day again. Right,
the post saves the day, but what about the penalty that was given? The player's been smashed in the face by the centre back inside the box. I mean, why do they do these things? I can't understand. Like, the guy is running into the channel, he's running away from goal. Why would you even entertain him? All right, track him. Smash him in the face and think you're going to get away with it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe they've all been watching. Maybe they've all been watching that Ice Defender.
Yes.
Okay. We're allowed to smash them in the face now. Okay, all right. Let's go for it. But yeah, I just a couple of things to say here as well. One, Melissas. I don't know what the hell he's done with his hair. But it looks like he looks like he's about to write a fan letter to Eminem. I don't know what the hell might have advised him on that. Yeah, exactly.
Dear Mr. Ansu, gonna call around my fans.
But there's so Florian played, I think, his first game of the season for Salamina here, and he had a couple of really good chances, and I mean, it's just a bit of rust, isn't it? Because he hasn't been playing, he wasn't able to get those couple of shots away. Again,
I've heard the rumor that he might be going to Omonia Gossiania in the second division.
Oh, okay.
That's what I read it on 24 Sports. So don't say I know anything. I really don't know anything. But
I think he scored a lot of goals for Nea Salamina last season when they were in the second division. So, but yeah, I think he needs to be given a bit more of a chance, really. I mean, because Doregaray hasn't been doing it for Nea Salamina. I mean, since we spoke about Nea Salamina being like dangerous,
decent defensively,
decent defensively, they've been a shower, haven't they?
Yeah, that's right.
It's like they were so close to the top six, and now they're 6 points behind. After those two games that we've You got that pass.
Oh, look, here's our mate. He almost scored.
There we go. Yeah.
He almost scored. But I'll tell you what, the second goal in the last minute, which we're about to see, goal of the season, surely, man. I mean, the passing, the movement is brilliant. And the cross on goal. Goal's second assist of the game as well.
Yeah. It's beautiful build-up play. Beautiful build-up play. Just look at that. Fantastic.
One-touch passing, flicks, tricks, you name it. This is party football.
That cross. I mean, thinking he didn't have to do much, but he decided to do a lot anyway. Like, he put some proper power on that header. Like, get that one.
That's the kind of cross that every striker wants, though.
Yeah.
Like, play me that ball. You know, the height, the cross was perfect. The depth, it was brilliant. And the movement, as we mentioned before, was fantastic. But again, you know, this team, Apollon, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how they're in dire straits and, you know, they're going to struggle. But they've released a couple of players, haven't they?
Well, 4 now. So so they got rid of
the three that we mentioned before, Cabral and
Cabral, Inja, and I can't remember the third one.
The Georgian fella.
Yeah, Inja is the Georgian fella. There's a third one though as well, but the 2 of them were it was a bit weird disciplinary wise. But and then Inja got released, and they just released Recio as well. Recio. But Recio
that was for family reasons, wasn't it?
Yeah. Apollon said it was because of family reasons. So, you know, it could be homesickness. It could be.
He joined them in the summer, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, well, I fully expect them to make a couple signings in this window now, especially.
Yeah, I mean they've got another 3 signings to make. You know, every team here's got. They can make 4 new signings in this window. Apollon kind of went in first with Warda. I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but we didn't actually talk about what happened as well on the social medias. You know, the whole that whole situation with basically Warda joined Apollon, did a big old did a big old statement going like, you know, I'm a footballer. I need to play. And the manager and the chairman at the club told me I wasn't going to play anymore because of that, I either stay and play my contract out, or I find a new place to go. And you know, I told them I wanted to go, and they said, you know, well, we'll release you from our contract, but we're not paying you. In fact, you're going to pay us. So he paid Anorthosis to break his contract. So, you know, whatever deal he put in place there, at least that's what he said in his statement. Now, the Twitter account for Anorthosis, the official Twitter account, then released a tweet that looked like a copy-paste of the text message that Warda sent to be like, please let me go. Please let me go. You are like a father to me. I am your son. You will always be my father, kind of thing.
The emotional blackmail is real.
And this was a text message to Boulaidis, and they decided, you know what, Amer, fuck you. Here's this for everybody to look at. And obviously, you know, Reziliki. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Again, we're going back to the shit show. but and then obviously, you know, there was, I think we mentioned it in the last pod as well, in the live one, that there was some off the field stuff happening with Warda already in Rumours nightclub. Like, I don't know why. It's like between Waris not scoring and Rumours nightclub, keep popping up on this podcast. Are they gone?
Well, put this at least VAR scoring.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure.
This VAR scoring, but
Yeah.
But staying on the theme of Anorthosis, by the way, just looking at 24 Sports, they are. Well, Vesko Mihailovic apparently is taking the training at the moment. Vesko, who obviously was a commentator on Primetel, used to be a player as well. But apparently, they're looking at Dellas to take the job.
I'm sorry. The Dellas.
Greece, Euro 2004. Yeah.
I mean, why would anybody walk into that job right now? Why would anybody walk into that job? Like, on top of, like, you know, there's, again, we've gone back to Anorthosis. There's all kinds of stuff going on at the moment there. One thing we didn't mention was the Atlético de Castilla stuff. So obviously every week we get like all the fines and all the, oh, you did this, so you get fined this much, and a big old web page comes up on the Cypriot FA website, kind of explaining the situation and then what they've decided the punishment is. So they finally looked at that Anorthosis Karmiodissa match. Now, this dickhead Vronidis, right, on top of the decision he made, he's doing things specifically to annoy the piss out of me. It's 8 pages of Greek legalese to explain his decision. There's not much to explain, man. There's not much to explain. It's, you did this, and this. So here's an €8,000 fine, an additional €1,000 fine for serving alcohol at the game, 1 home match behind closed doors, 1 away game with no fans, and a 3-0 win handed to Karmiodissa. Just, why does that need 8 fucking pages? I don't. No one was going to argue with whatever he was going to come up with, because it was plain to see.
But do you know what? If you realize the past few weeks, whenever something has come out in terms of a decision by GOP or whatever, you've always got someone complaining about it, whether it be a club president or this and that. So perhaps he believed those 8 pages would either be read in detail and they'd say, okay, fine, I agree with it, or they'd see the 8 pages and say, I can't be asked to read this, we'll accept it. That's how it's going to be.
Well, that's pretty much what happened. But the general manager at Anorthosis as well says, like, as part of like the investigation into it. I mean, what the hell investigation did they need to do? But anyway, they did an investigation, and the general manager at Anorthosis didn't say anything about like, oh, you know, it's like 5 people, you can't do this to the fans because no. What they said was they were aware that things were going to go crazy, so they asked for a larger police presence, and the police said, fine, instead of the 50 we normally send, we're going to send 58.
Ooh.
8 extra police officers. Wow. Yeah.
That's going to make one hell of a difference.
Yeah, but right, in the 8 pages as well, for some reason, they needed a statement from Karmiodissa. Like, what the fuck? What did they need a statement from Karmiodissa from?
I was kind of expecting their statement to be, thanks for the 3-0.
Yeah, that would be it, wouldn't it? But it was basically like, yeah, well, we understand that it's the responsibility of the home team to organise the police presence. And that was it. I mean,
Good days.
But I guess there's a process. You have to go through the process. It's just that, don't give me fucking 8 pages to read, man. Especially with everything else that happens in this league.
They're keeping you busy, mate. They're keeping you busy. They're doing delivery for you. Jesus. All right. Fucking hell, what's happening? Some shit's popping up on my screen. Right. Okay, 1 second. So next game, young man. Which one is it? Let's go for my team. We beat Paralimni 3-0. 2 Gaguli, 1 from Karim Ansarifard. A man of the match display from Brandon Barker, believe it or not.
Yeah,
and
I'd agree with that.
I said what I had to say on the podcast about this game, so I'll leave it with you, my friend. I'll leave it with you.
Money are back, baby. No, it was a really good performance. No, it was, it's a really good performance. This could have been a pretty big hiccup here.
Banana skin.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been a big slip up here, but it looks like there's some kind of momentum that's starting to come through. I mean, it's only 2 games, so watch this space. But I'm just looking at the last 5 games. Omonia have won 4 and lost 1, so things are starting to progress. It looks like. I mean, I'm just looking at it from the outside, and especially kind of how we were talking to Mickey Masana and David Badia and how they treat a formation. They're not necessarily playing formations as such, but kind of positional play based on what the situation calls for.
Yeah.
So like if you're having to defend, banks of 4 and whatever, if you're attacking, then it kind of spreads out and splits up based off of which wing it's all coming from, or whether it's coming through the middle or whatever else. So it looks like he's trying to implement the same sort of system that Mickey and then David were talking about. And obviously that takes a bit of time, especially in a league such as ours, where I won't say the quality of the player makes putting in a system like that a bit more difficult. But they're used to more rigid formations. They're used to, we're going to play defensive, we're going to play attacking, we're going to play 4-4-2, 4-3-2-1, 4-5-1, or 4-3-3, whatever, and you kind of stick to it. Whereas some of the newer coaches are trying to bring in this more fluid formation style, and I think this is what Yannick Ferrara is trying to do here.
Yeah,
so it
probably
took
there's a lot of
while.
rotation.
Exactly.
Sorry, mate. Yeah,
No,
there's a lot of
yeah,
rotation in terms of the positions. We saw Barca originally starting on the right. He was moving to the left, more central. We saw Bruno Felipe in like a left wing back position. Gitsos was moving from left back to centre mid. So while players had their set positions, it seemed that Omonia were exploiting areas of the pitch where perhaps Paralimni were very, very weak. And as you'll see from this passage of play, a lot of ball watching and great work from Salti. The finish was a little bit scuffed, but they all count, I guess, when VAR says it's cool. So, yeah, happy days.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Ansarifad, he didn't really enjoy that goal, did he? Didn't celebrate.
No, it's like Berbatov, isn't it? When Berbatov scores a goal, unless it's a beautiful one, he will celebrate it. But I think maybe this is the unshaven Ansarifad. That's we used to see him with stubble, So maybe maybe he had a shave. He thought he'd have a trim, but he shaved a bit too much, and he figured, "Oh shit, let me shave it all off." And he looked at himself in the mirror. He's like, "I look about 10 years old." So maybe he's just pissed off about that. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, Omonia did exactly what they needed to do here.
Yep. There's one bit of skill from Barker near the end where he's absolutely done the fullback. Where I was like, what is this? Who is this player? Who is this guy? And where's he been all season?
Well, maybe again, kind of Lennon is a bit more old school. That was unlucky for Paralimni here, where they hit the bar again. Bar doing the best defending for the team. But yeah. So we go back to Lennon. Lennon is probably more of like an old school coach.
Yep.
So a player like Barker, who's got a bit more creativity in him, who wants to probably move into spaces, take on a man, probably got that kind of taken out of him a little bit.
Oh, that's not the one.
So there you go. Is it this one?
No, that's not. No, I think it's the next one. The next one. It's the next one.
Yeah, here you go.
No.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Here we go.
There you go. Right, completely.
Come on.
Completely did him. Completely did him. But yeah. So
your soulmate.
You know, yeah, I think that's kind of why there was this stuttering start to his coaching at Omonia, and then it's kind of like starting to pick up now. So in theory, now we should probably see Omonia start to pick up more points against the bigger teams as well, because that's kind of where they've been suffering a lot more. You know, if you look at, for instance, the result with Aboel, if you look at some of the other results against the teams that are challenging a bit further to the top, it's kind of what's the litmus test, let's say.
Well, mate, a couple of weeks ago, in fact, which game was it where we won? I can't remember. Was it the last game that we won? Who was it against? It wasn't Paralimni, the one before that. I can't remember. Anyway, it was before Christmas. I was saying the next 4 games are winnable. Paralimni, Doxa, Ael, and Salamina. If Omonia win those games, the table could look completely different at that point. Could look completely different. And with us being, 5 points behind Aris, the pressure is slowly being cranked up. And in all fairness, I'm glad that we're going about our business quietly, kind of a little bit under the radar. But there's players that are doing very well as individuals as well, but also as team players. Like Gaguli, for example, who got 2 goals. And one of the main criticisms I had of his was he wasn't scoring enough goals. He was doing everything else right in terms of his movement, everything else, but the finishing just wasn't there. But he had 3 opportunities. He scored 2, and the third, the second one, which he shot straight at the keeper, should have done a lot better. But again, that's composure and inexperience, and I get it. But there are players who, like, for example, Militic, looked very, very solid the other day. He was throwing his body in front of the ball. This is the kind of defender that you want. Psatti is slowly growing into the fullback that we brought in to be that marauding wingback, so to speak. So I can't really complain at the moment. Granted, we're not in a great position, but we're not out of the title race. We're not out of the race for European spots. So the positivity is there, and I like this coach, and I really hope that they back him. And speaking of backing him, a signing was made yesterday. Was yesterday? Ismail Tajuri Stradi. I'd never heard of him before. I had him, Tom Boga, who's an MLS expert, on No Choftes yesterday, telling us a bit more about the player. Do you know much about him? Did you have any idea?
Yes,
or no?
Out of the blue, I mean, when Omonia announced the signing, I kind of did like what most people did and kind of went Wikipedia, Transfermarkt, to see what he did there. Had a look at his stats. When he has played, he's been impressive for the teams that he's played for. But I think it was mentioned. I think it was mentioned with Tom, like you were saying, is that when he plays, he seems to have an injury record, and how that gets managed is going to be kind of the whether or not I'm wanting to get anything out of him, because his last team didn't get anything out of him because of kind of big injury he received, and then they kind of had to go rehabilitate in a different country. I can understand rehabilitating in a different country because kind of different discussion, but the US medical system is an absolute shit show. Ask anybody in America, having to pay insurance and then having to pay copay on top of that insurance, and then having to pay for stepping a foot in a hospital even though you've got the insurance. So it's a big mess over there. So on top of that, there's probably German. There's places like Germany, Dubai for some reason now is a big place for sports rehabilitation as well.
Yeah.
So
there's a hospital in Dubai called the Saudi Germany hospital, and that's really good, really good. So yeah, but look, the player went out there to Germany to have his rehabilitation, and apparently he'd be ready for pre-season training in MLS now. So you know, he's probably about 2 or 3 weeks away from being ready to step foot onto a pitch to kick a ball about, and he might take a couple more weeks to be 100% or match fit, should I say. But it's not a bad time of the season to be match fit when there's 10 games to go and you're chasing for a European spot, or so we've hoped. So
yeah, exactly. I think, I think if he could be a good player as long as they break him in slowly. There's no reason why to break him in quickly, because at the moment the team seems to be getting results regardless of whether the performance is there or not. Against Paralimni it was. I think the week before wasn't necessarily there. It was more winning by pulling your shirt up and getting a bit sweaty. But if you don't change that core of the team without having to, then you're going to keep getting performances from them. Once that performance starts to drop, then you look at making the changes. And that's probably where you'd look to bring in the Ismail. I'm not saying his surname. I'm going to wait till other people...
Just call me Ismail. Call me Ismail. Best way, mate. Best way.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right. Right. 2 games to go. Let's go with Apollon, whose 1-0 victory over Olympiacos put them top of the league. Not much happening in this one. Although what I will say is I've noticed more and more now that Apoel are very, very focused on working on their set pieces.
Yeah.
And winning second balls especially. But the goal scorer who got the winner, Dalcio, the forgotten man, who a few weeks ago I was saying, what the fuck is going on with him? He with a very important goal. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think when we discussed it before, is like the manager's got a team. The team seems to be performing, so there wasn't any need to change it, unless there was injuries. Now, I think Marquinhos is injured. Is he?
Yeah,
I think he is. They've got quite a few injuries out on the wings at the moment, which meant that Dalcio and Donis played instead of the normal wingers. So, Dalcio's come in, performed. So if he keeps performing, he's going to stay in that team. I think that's how this manager works. He's rewarding the players for performing well. Apoel are grinding these 1-0 results. How many 1-0s have they got? I think I wrote it down.
Well, they've only conceded 6 goals this season, so
yeah. But I mean,
quite a lot of nil-nils.
Yeah,
clean sheets. Sorry, clean sheets.
Yeah, but they're not scoring that many considering where they are in the league. Like, I'm just looking at their goals for instance.
But the difference is, mate, they're not relying on one person to get their goals. This is the thing.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. I know they've scored a few penalties, but Villafañez is scoring. Kvida's been scoring goals. Dalcio we just mentioned. Okay, Kvida has only got 1, but the right back scored a couple goals against Buffalo.
Yeah.
So
he also got an assist as well.
Yes. Yes. So they're not shy of scoring goals. If they had someone prolific or someone that was fit that was prolific, then they'd be
scary. It'd be scary.
Yep.
Because I'm just looking at their goals for column here. So Apoel, whilst they're top, their goals for are 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 5th for goals for.
Right.
So
right.
They're below Omonia, for instance. Yeah, they're 4 goals below Omonia. So
what I will say about them though is that they don't set up to hit teams on the counter. It's not as if they're a team where it's like, come and break us down. They do play ball.
Yeah.
They do play ball. And they're probably the best counter-attacking team in the league, in all fairness.
Yeah. I think, it all goes down to you've got one or two players in that midfield that kind of get the ball, make the simple pass, and just and then everybody else sprints forward while they stay and kind of make sure that they don't get hit on the counter. So, for instance, Kostandinov was doing that before he got injured, and then kind of it was replaced with Sacha on in the last game, and then kind of that's where the game for Hapoel started to unravel a little bit. There was a few situations that Sacha was involved with that you probably wouldn't see Kostandinov doing, but that's all to do with experience. It comes, but even if we go back to Gvidaya, he's not scoring the goals, but kind of away from the chances created that he's missing, he's working really hard to get the ball back. He's laying it off for other people to carry on the attack. He's been asked to do a job that he wouldn't necessarily do normally, and he seems to be excelling at it. Like, he's not scoring the goals, but he seems to be very good at the hold up play, which good on him. Fair enough. If he hadn't scored that one goal, I'd be on him like Waris.
But he did contribute to the winner, though, because it was his quick thinking where he got his shoulder out and blocked the ball.
Exactly.
And the players were complaining, the Olympiacos players were complaining for a handball, but it wasn't a handball. It's just quick thinking, and it worked out. So, look, they're going from strength to strength. I can't remember the last time they lost, which again is quite scary. That being said, perhaps they do need one more striker, or perhaps an attacking midfield. Well, actually, no, not really an attacking midfield. I think they do need a striker if they are serious about challenging for the title. Ilya hasn't worked out so far, but he's another player that can score goals, man. He's another one that can score goals.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to be trusted, does he? He's not getting on the pitch. So
yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
But we go back to Olympiacos again. It's like at the moment they've got a series of games where they're going to get absolutely knocked in. I mean, their matches read so they drew with Aris 0-0. They lost to AEL 2-0. Then they had Hapoel, and then next match day, all right, they've got Garmiodissa. So they've just got past this last kind of crunch kind of series of matches that they had. Now the next few matches, you've got Garmiodissa, you've got Akritas, you've got
and then Apollon.
Yeah. So, all right.
The last 2 games of January.
But those next 2 games, you'd think, with the way that they've been playing, regardless of the results that they've had, the way that they've been playing, you'd see them getting something from those 2 games.
You'd hope.
Yeah.
You'd hope.
Yeah. It's whether or not Sergidis has got enough in him to get them motivated for those 2 games.
Yeah, that's a point.
But kind of watching back those highlights from the Hapoel game, as Joel Mal must be really pissed off with the rest of the team, because it was the one keeping them in the game.
Well, if they had like a fantasy football, like an FPL version of the Prodathlima, he'd have got like 20 points for the saves that he made, the amount of saves, and but the thing is, he'll be pissed off that the goal beat him at his near post. Yeah. I'm sure he'll be pissed off about that.
Yeah, so, but I mean, it's this year, kind of the league is more about the goalkeepers than kind of further afield. Like a lot of the goalkeepers in this league are, are high quality, and Mal is obviously one of them. Kind of moving further up the pitch for Olympiacos. Isn't Esselink on loan from Apoel?
Yeah, he played.
Yeah,
Didn't he? Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's allowed.
Yeah. Well, this is the other thing that I was going to ask you. Like, how is that even allowed? For you to play against your parent club.
Yeah, it must be. I don't think there's any rules against it. FIFA or UEFA.
Not in Cyprus, no. Not in Cyprus anyway.
Yeah. But I guess it must be like a contract thing that you have to agree.
Yeah. Well, it's happened in other leagues. I think it happens in Serie A in Italy, where, and I'm pretty sure, for the life of me, I can't remember which game it was, where a player who was on loan played against their parent club, and they scored a winning goal against them, and it really affected either their title or was it relegation? I don't know. I need to look into this. I need to speak to my mate Nima, who's a Serie A expert. He will tell me.
In Italy, it's a bit more weird because you've got like dual ownership as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, again, kind of Olympiacos, if they don't get results in these next two games, then you'd think that's kind of writing's going to start being on the door. On the wall. God,
it could be on the door. Could be on the door. It's Donades we're talking about here. He probably writes on his walls and everything.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Final game, top of the table clash. AEK beating Buffalo by a goal to 0. Wonderful winner by Altman. But more VAR controversy, which we're going to go into in just a bit.
Yeah.
But again, my friend, the AEK theme continues, crossing from out wide, looking for the big guy in the box. Buffalo looked pretty decent, although, again, the decision to rule out Zairo's goal, I don't know what to make of it. We're going to see it in just a bit, but your thoughts on the game, please, mate.
I mean, entertaining game. Obviously, between these two, very teams that attack with pace, kind of take it to teams. They both went in full throttle as you would expect, and it was quite a bit of a spectacle, regardless of kind of the scoreline being as low as it was. You got players like Valekari, Gyro, Altman. All these players turning out for both these teams, and they were both the teams were up for it. On balance, AEK playing at home, they got it's a good goal in it. They've got home fans. They've got a lot of players performing at their prime right now. I think even like the Conference League Twitter page was like, AEK have won 9 games in a row. So you did. They're doing numbers right now. Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for these decisions to come up. Whilst again, talking about goalkeepers as well, Pirich is amazing goalkeeper, and Antosh as well is a very good goalkeeper. So you're kind of seeing these guys perform as well in this game was really nice to see. I guess. I mean, there's not a lot to say. It's just a really nice match to watch. I mean, controversy-wise, normally you'd be like, "Oh, the fans are on the pitch, or the fans have done something weird, or fouls, or somebody chucked something at somebody."
It is.
Yeah,
there's the goal.
So here's the goal.
When I first saw it, I thought it was going to be disallowed for a push on the defender, but he actually doesn't really make much contact.
No, it was disallowed for offside, wasn't it?
Yep. Which again,
I mean, zoom in a little bit, man. I mean, what is that?
Yeah. There was. Did I send you the image the
think so,
zoomed in image.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna see if I can get it and bring it up on the screen, because that yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This Henningberg was talking about VAR. I didn't get his full press conference, so I can't, tell you exactly what he said. But he was saying, like, we want different referees. We get different referees. What do we want? What is it that we want from football these days? But at the same time, I think he's obviously aggrieved with what has happened. I'd be pissed off if I was a Buffalo fan, and especially like the lines that were drawn and all that kind of stuff. It just, look, unless you've got like proper technology like the Premier League or like they use in the World Cup, it's very difficult to ascertain whether it's offside or not. I'm just trying to bring up on the screen. Sorry.
What it is, right? All it is just a different camera angle. So a lot of the camera work in Gipro leaves a lot to be desired for.
That's the image.
There you go.
That's the best I can get. That's the best I can do, man. I'm sorry.
But
if I could zoom in even more, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really see where he's picked the. Like, I mean, okay, you've seen he's drawn the lines, but you don't really see kind of where he's like. Is it the guy's arm? Is it his hand? Is it?
Well, looking at it now, it seems to me that it's his shoulder that's offside. But if you look behind him, you've got the Ajax player's right boots. You've got the black line. You've got the black and red line, don't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But how big is his boot? How big is his foot? Does it go on that red line? Because if it's on the red line, which for me it looks like the right side of his boot is on the red line, then the player's onside.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's fine margins.
If the margin is as fine as it is, I think this is what they were saying in the Premier League. If you're having to stare at a line that long, then just let the goal count. You let the on-field decision count.
Yeah. Well, put it this way. The way I see it, Giza, is we see this time and time again in the Brodathlima, right? They do two rights, two wrongs don't make a right. So the next game, I guarantee you.
Sorry. Yeah. That's a painful one. Got a boot right in the face.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Buffer will get a decision go their way. Like, for example, that.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just looking back again. I think we were talking about that Paralimni goal where you couldn't even see the difference in the lines. At least here you had a difference between the lines.
Yeah. Well, look, Buffalo gave it a good go. In all fairness, they gave it a good go. But the other question I have with regards to Buffalo is this Buffalo team resembles a typical Henningberg team in the sense that they will try to shut up shop, not concede, and when they score one, the other team will attack them. They'll hit them on the counter and they'll obliterate them. Mm-hmm. But when they go a goal behind, it's a different story. Now, I don't know the statistics or how many times Buffalo have gone behind this season and ended up coming back to win games. I'm guessing it's not many because they've either not gone behind enough or they just pummel teams from the start. But I can't think of many games this season where they've gone a goal down and fought back to win. Can you think of any?
I mean, not really. I'm just looking at their goals for and goals against. Their defense is pretty solid. They've only conceded 11.
Exactly.
But like you were saying, if they score one, then they just wait for you to come at them, and then they break you on the counter. They've got they're the top goal scorers in the league this season. Obviously, Gyro being the top goal scorer in the league by a long way as well. It's not like even close. but yeah, they've got 36 goals. Where Ike and Aris are next with 29. So it's not even close with the amount of goals that they're scoring.
Yep.
So maybe I don't see them. I don't see where they've fallen behind and gotten a result, because I think the 2 times that I can think they didn't get a result.
Well, I'll tell you what they were. Right, I'll tell you what. Right, they went a goal behind against Olympiacos and they drew. They went a goal behind against Aris and they drew, and they went a goal behind against, was it Apoel? No, yeah, Apoel, and they lost. So this is my point. They go goal behind, they don't come back to win games, and this is what happened with Henningberg with Omoni. It didn't happen very often. We'd go a goal behind and we'd go on to win the game. It didn't happen very often. So are we seeing a trait of Henningberg? So this isn't knocking the guy, because they're still challenging for the title. But is this a mentality thing, or is this a system thing now?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be an experience thing as well. No. It could be an experience thing as well, because obviously Bafo haven't been in this situation before, where people are looking at them being like, "What's happening here?" And they got the defeat against Apoel, and that seems to have deflated them a little bit.
Yeah.
Because before that, obviously they went unbeaten, so kind of it's a confidence game. It's a confidence game. If they need to try and keep up the pace. Now this is where Henningberg earns his money. Is he able to, get them to keep up the pace?
Oh yes. Well, mate, do you know there's been no talk about transfers this January? You know, they signed Bentancur, the centre forward, and El Kaduri is going to make way for him. So they've got a centre forward. So perhaps Berger's probably thought, you know what, this guy, he's been training with them all summer. They signed him last summer, didn't they? But they couldn't register him until January. So maybe Berg thinks, or maybe he envisaged there being a possibility that if Zairo gets injured, they're going to need a goal scorer, or goes back to what you said about mentality. Now, this guy scores goals. We've seen his goal scoring record. So maybe he could be the difference. And look, we've seen it before, various seasons, where 1 or 2 signings in January can make a difference. They can fuck up as well, don't get me wrong, but they can make a big difference. And look, you mentioned they don't concede goals. Great, they're solid. We know that they're good in midfield. You know, was it Namez, the midfielder? He's a decent one. Valakari, etc., etc. Tankovic. So they've got the squad there. Perhaps they were lacking that striker, because your mate Semedo hasn't been scoring enough goals.
No, listen, Semedo is a very good player. Just don't have him shoot.
No shooting allowed.
No shooting. Pass. Just pass the ball. Pass the ball. Somebody else.
Is that Adel Tarat, that QPR? Don't pass to him when he's in his own half. Give him the ball in the other opponent's half, but not in your own half.
Oh God.
So,
I think. Well, they had Gyro be injured for 3 or 4 games as well, didn't they?
Yes, that's right.
So I don't think the scoring necessarily suffered.
No.
But yeah, I think they need a bit of competition for him as well, because obviously El Gaduri wasn't doing it so much. I mean, he scored
1 against
Agrida, yeah, but apart from that, he really didn't. Really hasn't done much.
No.
So maybe they need somebody to kind of keep on Gyro's toes, maybe as well.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap it up with the league table, have you got any other stories, any news that you want to?
Well, we didn't talk. Oh, so let's go back to my friend Vronidi, yeah. Because there was a thing for Nea Salamina as well. So on top of Anorthosis doing whatever, all that business, the same weekend, Nel Salamina fans got up to some shenanigans. So I think it was a couple of weeks ago. It could have been a couple of hours ago or 2 centuries ago. I don't. It's time. Time is a flat circle, especially with what's going on in this fucking league. But yeah, we talked about it like very briefly, like because we didn't know what had happened. But there was talk of Nel Salamina fans attacking press people. Yeah. So the your man Vronidi looked at this, and thank God he didn't
My
provide
man.
yeah, well, he's not my fucking man. It's just But anyway, he looked at this. In my notes, I call him my best buddy. But anyway, so he's looked at this and hasn't written 8 pages of bollocks. It's just a couple of sentences on the web page. So we've got Nel Salamina are going to have to play a game behind closed doors at home as a punishment, along with a fine for fans doing the following. So, using a laser on the referee and opposing fans, throwing objects at the assistant referee, which we talked about when Bursai did this, we're going nuts on the sideline, and we saw like empty cups flying out towards the pitch. Throwing firecrackers and other objects at the referee at the end of the game, and also they tried to spit on him. So that's a new one. And then there are firecrackers and flares being set off in the stands. And then the big one, it was damage that the fans caused, including the breaking of a glass panel on a door which leads off to the press area. So what's happened here is they've gone and smashed the door in, probably not realizing there's somebody on the other side of the door. And that's how the guy from Andena and the cameraman got injured. So Nel Salamina have been fined and have got to play a game at home behind closed doors. Now, with that, there was then also a big conference. The Cyprus FA took a big photo of like Mystigo Dibno type, last summer type seating arrangement between the FA, the police, and the club, and the heads of the clubs kind of sat around a table discussing what they were going to do. And they basically they came up with, we should have more police officers supporting the stewards when they're doing the security searches. We should get the security staff trained, like FIFA affiliation trained, so they're able to deal with, Bedri with his barra or his firecracker or whatever. And what was the other one? And more stewards to be made available in the ground. And you're like, really? These were the solutions you came up with? The other one was as well for working on providing the infrastructure for making the fan card to work properly. And I kind of read through this and I was, oh wow! I wish somebody had come up with those ideas before. Like, talking about the police presence at the Anorthosis game, for instance, right? From 50 police officers to 58. Ooh. If that's the kind of increase in police presence of some of these games that they're talking about, then, I mean, what the hell, man? What's that going to do? What's that going to do?
Shit show. It's a fucking shit show.
What's it going to do? And I was saying, like, what's the bet that these things won't be implemented until for another 2-3 seasons once they've stopped arguing about who's going to pay for all this stuff? I don't know, man. I don't know. They keep coming up with stuff. they keep sitting around the table and patting each other on the back and tossing each other off about what a great job they're doing. And then 6 months later they're like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why everybody's reacting the way that they're reacting. It's sorry to leave you on a sour note, but this is Mappa. Hey.
Oh mate. Well, look, let's finish on the league table, shall we? Come on, let's have some positivity, something for us to talk about. Something different for us to talk about. I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's not leave it with that bitter taste. There you go.
So here we go. Aboil top of the league on 40 points, joint top with Ayak Larnaca. Although I don't know why Aboil listed as top, because Ayak's goal difference and goals for
it's normally the split in the when they do the split, normally it's based on results against the two teams.
Oh, did Aboil beat Ayak? I can't remember.
So I think was it a draw in Lefkosia? I want to say.
I think so.
I want to say that's and that's basically. Oh no, Aboil beat Ayak in Lefkosia.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. So
okay, fair enough. I can't remember.
Well, So Aboil beat Ayak in Lefkosia. That's right.
Head to head. Okay.
So it's head to head. So that's why Aboil are top right now.
Okay.
And then you've got. Yeah, if you want to go through the rest of them.
No, it's fine. Buffalo third, 3 points behind. Go on, Karen. I'll let you do it. Go on.
Yeah, so we've got Buffalo in third, 3 points behind. And then you've got Aris have kind of fallen back because of their form over the last 2-3 games. They're 4 points behind on 33 points. And then we've got Omonia and Apollon on 28 points in 5th and 6th. I guess head-to-head, did Omonia beat Apollon?
2-0, yes. No, but we lost 2-1 against them as well.
Well, I guess then it goes between, like the head-to-head goes for goals scored as well. So goal difference between the head-to-head. And then kind of, so that kind of, the top 6 seems to be forming itself, but it depends on whether you're IELTS or you're Nea Salamina or you're Anorthosis does anything. But so we've got 7th, we've got IL with 22 points, and Nea Salamina with 22 points in 8th. So again, that must be a head-to-head thing. And then we've got in 9th, there's another step of 4 points.
Anyway.
So the clown show is 18 points. And then Garmiodis are in 10th with 16 points. Paralini are in 11th with 14 points, and they're probably going to start getting a bit worried because they're really not picking up points. And then you've got Voxa in 12th with 12 points. And then Akritas are off the bottom now, 13th with 10 points. And Olympiacos are propping everybody up with 9 points.
Well done. So, you did very well there.
Thank you.
Impressed.
Yeah, so we've got 9 games left now before the split.
Yep.
So things are going to
27 points to play for, boys and girls. Yeah. Do you know what? There's one thing I do regret not saying. I didn't refer to the Garmiodis Aris match as the either the Limassol derby or the Soviet derby.
What was it? Locomotive
Bolivia
versus CSKA Limassol.
CSK Aris.
Great stuff.
My goodness. Well, boys and girls, it's been another episode of This Is Mappa. We've gone for close to an hour and 45 minutes. Bloody hell. There was a lot to talk about. A lot to dissect.
Clown show.
Happy days. So like, subscribe, comment, tell all your friends. If you got friends that want to know about Cypriot football, or if you're from Cyprus and want an English take or a British speaking take, or even if you have friends who have some interest in Cypriot football, tell them about our pod, because we're growing.
Yeah.
We're going to have more and more guests on this year. I think we're going to drop a few bombs as well. I've got a feeling. But yeah, that's it. Happy New Year, boys and girls. And we'll see you in a few days, because tomorrow, being Friday, as you're watching it now, today, should I say, there's another round of games starting, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
So who's playing tomorrow / tonight?
Hold on, because I've only been. We've got Nea Salamina versus Baralimni, big one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Friday at 5 o'clock UK time, I guess. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
7 Gibro time.
Yep.
Yep.
There's Omonia Doxa on the Saturday, Anorthosis Ajax on the Saturday. Oof. Vesko Mihailovic's first game in charge as caretaker manager. Buffo Apollon on Sunday. Aela Boel. That could have 0-0 written all over it. The way the things.
Yeah.
And then Olympiacos Carmiotis. So my goodness. So hopefully we'll be back Tuesday. We'll be back Tuesday, and maybe we might have some more transfers. Maybe we might have more shenanigans. And yeah, so that's it, boys and girls, or whatever you identify yourself as. We'll be back very, very soon. So until next time, adios.